So welcome again. My name is Jennifer Williams, your host as we celebrate National Nutrition Month with our discussion on eating healthier. March is the perfect time to check in on our goals that we've set for ourselves at the start of the year and reset a bit if we may have gotten a little bit off track. So we're sitting down today with another Jennifer Meyers, dietitian and certified diabetes program manager, to talk about all things nutrition. So you have a question for us today, leave a comment below and we'll be sure to answer if we have time. So please help me welcome Jen. Welcome. Hi. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
This is a very important question as we start our chat together. Jen, with one N or two N's?
One N.
We're good, then we can continue on, everybody. So thank you so much for being here again. You know, it's National Nutrition Month, like so important to kind of, like I said, in March, it's like a good time to reset and talk about, you know, making sure we're on track. So just first, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. So I'm a registered dietitian. I've been with Barnabas for about 20 plus years. I'm the program manager for the Center for Diabetes Wellness and Prevention, Nutrition Counseling, and the Kogan Celiac Center over at the Ambulatory Care Center. So I see patients individually, and I do a lot developing programs for all of those centers.
That's great. And so there's a few just like basic topics I wanted to cover today, kind of our basic nutrition, alternate diets and trends, and then of course our diet and our health and how that affects everything. So let's dive right in. Basic nutrition. So what do you think consists of a healthy diet?
Sure. So we're always trying to stress dietary patterns. Okay, and what does that mean? Making sure that we're eating from all the different food groups. Now, people have probably heard from that since the beginning of the time, and they probably think about the pyramid, but really it's just kind of educating people from a very young age that we need to eat different vegetables, we need to eat our fruits, we need to eat our dairy foods, we need to eat our protein foods, we need to eat our whole grains, and we need to eat our healthy oils.
So that when you said the pyramid, you took me back to elementary school in the cafeteria with it always planted on the wall. So for you, it's just about making sure that we're taking bits and pieces from that throughout our day.
Definitely.
Can I ask you something too about fruits and veggies? Is there such a thing as eating too many fruits and veggies?
Sure. Wonderful question. So definitely vegetables, I usually tell people there's never anything bad to eating too many vegetables. Okay. Most of the vegetables, right? So your salads, your mushrooms, your peppers, your tomatoes, your cucumbers, your broccoli, like all those type of vegetables are really, really great vegetables. They're super low calories, and most people are concerned about weight control. So they're low calories and they're so healthy for us in so many ways. Fruit, well, fruit has a lot of the same vitamins and minerals of vegetables, and they're just as healthy. The problem with fruit is that fruit has double the amount of calories per serving. So I usually tell people with the fruit, although they definitely want to get it in their diet, they don't want to think of fruit as being unlimited, especially if they want to try and control their weight.
Gotcha. So again, all in moderation. And speaking of, fruits and veggies and snacks and things like that, I love a good snack. Is there anything, are there healthy snack options for us?
Yeah. Good question. So everyone's always asking about snacks, right? Because we all love our snacks. And a lot of times when we think about snacks, people are thinking about treats, something really scrumptious and great to eat. And while we could definitely get that, we're first, as registered dietitians, we're really trying to promote people get in all those different food groups. So we're always trying to think of those kind of food groups first, right? So we might say, okay, well, we know we want to try and get our vegetables in. So maybe we could take some vegetables and we could dip it in our dairy foods, which might be our yogurt. And if the yogurt is kind of plain and not so great, we could throw some Tabasco sauce in the yogurt and make it nice and spicy. So you got the spice, you got the creaminess, and that's really great. We might want to think about, okay, with the fruit, we need to try and get the fruit in. So let me try and have maybe something like an apple. And then if you want something nice and creamy and another food group to get in your protein food, we could stick that in some nice creamy peanut butter. If they didn't get their dairy in, I might tell them, all right, let's do some yogurt. Maybe you didn't get your yogurt in for the day. You can maybe put some nice crunchy nuts in the yogurt, which is another food group we want to get in for our healthy oils. And then maybe even like some kind of whole grain granola in there and some fresh fruits. And that's taking care of 4 food groups all at once. So that's perfect.
Get that multitasking in our food eating.
Right. Or even beans. Beans is something that people don't eat a lot of, and they may not think of beans as a snack, but if they take some hummus and then they dip some like carrots or some cherry tomatoes into the hummus, that could be a really, really great snack.
You make all of this sound so appealing and delicious.
Okay.
Now I'm like, oh, what am I going to have? I always love a good apple and peanut butter. I had that today for a snack. But so those are all the good things. So are there things that we should be avoiding?
Right. Well, the biggest things that we're having way too much of, okay, is the added sugars. Added sugars we're having way too much of, and also saturated fats. Okay, so saturated fat may be found in things like, your burgers and your fries and, all those fried foods and things like that. So the added sugars and the fat are the 2 things that we want to try to have less of. I mean, it doesn't mean, and a lot of times people think of that as, well, that's what I want to have for my treats. And it doesn't mean they can't have it, right? Because if we're living a healthy lifestyle, we're going to live a healthy lifestyle forever. And a healthy lifestyle shouldn't mean deprivation, right? So if you want to have that snack and you want to be more of a treat snack and you've ate all those different food groups for the day, then you may have 100, 150 calories left over where you can have your cookie or your ice cream or things like that. So they can have that as long as they've really had in all those good foods for the day.
And now and you brought up calories. Is there a certain, what is like the recommended amount of calories we eat per day?
So that's a good question too, because a lot of the problems, of course, in this country is people being overweight and obese. About 74% of people are overweight or obese, which is a really, really, really high number. So, we really want to think about calories, right? If we want to get all those food groups in, it's hard to get them in and still maintain a good amount of calories. Calorie needs change throughout life. Calorie needs change based upon whether you're male, female. So there's a lot of different kind of ranges. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans is a great resource to seeing a table on calorie needs for both male, females, and all different ages. So that's what I usually tell people to go to.
Okay. And so kind of going back to it, so you're saying, we've met our goals for the day and we have a little bit of extra. There are some indulgences that we can be taken. Like, so are there what are some of those like healthy kind of indulgences, those healthy fats that we can bring into our lives?
Right. So, I love the nuts. I think the nuts is a really super heart healthy fat, and that could be a great snack to have. Maybe you could combine that with your fruit. Avocado. A lot of people are eating lots of avocados right now, and avocados are nice and creamy. It's a great source of potassium. It's heart healthy. So avocado could be a great snack. You could have maybe some whole grain tortilla chips in some avocado, in some guacamole. You could put some tomatoes in the guacamole too. So that could be really good, or even just some, avocado sliced on some toast in the morning and a little spice it up with some cayenne pepper or something like that. And that could be great.
Pepper. Jen likes spicy, everybody.
I do.
So there's so many, healthy options. And then, like you said, we can let that little treat in every once in a while. Sure. And I wanted to talk to you too about beverages. Like, I know I drink a lot of water. My doctor told me to drink like a ton of water during the day. And, you and I have talked before as well, a lot of sugary beverages are not very good for us. So, what should we be doing and thinking about when we're drinking?
Yeah, great. So we always want to stay well hydrated, even like as people get older, like older adults, sometimes that's like one of the big risks that happens for them is that they get dehydrated because they kind of lose their sense of thirst as they get older. So we always worry about that in the older adult population.
That registers with me because my grandpa, he had kidney problems and we always tell my grandpa you had to drink more water. And he's like, I have water in my coffee. No, grandpa, it's not the same. But like when you said that,
Yeah, so water is important for the kidneys, and water is great for our skin, for our hair, for everything. And it keeps us hydrated, especially in the summer months for children and teenagers. So we are supposed to drink lots of water. The problem is a lot of people are throwing caffeine into their energy drinks now, and tons of caffeine, not a good thing to go with, or lots of sugar. That is the number one place where people are getting the added sugars is from their drinks. So whether it's an energy drink with lots of sugar, or whether it's soda, which could have 2 or 3 days worth of sugar, or oh yeah, lots, or the flavored teas, which could have tons of sugar. So I always tell people that's the biggest place where they're getting the added sugar. Maybe switch to seltzer over soda, or naturally flavored seltzers are really, really great options, or putting some lemon or lime in your water gives lots and lots of flavored, or even just taking lots of fresh fruit and maybe basil, or probably like basil, watermelon, things like that, put it in a diffuser and let that diffuse out into the water, and it gives some natural kind of flavor, and it tastes fantastic.
Yeah, those are great tips, and something very important to keep in mind with all that could add so much sugar to your diet. Another thing I wanted to talk to you, like, we all love to go out to eat and like sit with friends and have a nice meal, and they put that big plate of food in front of you. So how important is portion size, and if we are out, how do we combat that and not eating the whole thing up? Oh, I think we lost Jen.
I think I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Great. Okay.
We're good.
All right, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. So the question again was about eating out, right? So
portion size. Yeah.
Definitely, so for people who, let's say they eat out every so often, I might tell them, go ahead and enjoy it, right? If it's your birthday, it's a special occasion, it's your anniversary, go ahead and enjoy it. But if people are eating out 3 or 4 times a week, it really could have an effect on chronic disease. So I really try to tell them to go back to those food groups, eat all those healthy food groups, find those healthy food groups. And we do a lot of education on portion size. MyPlate.gov is a great website for looking at what a plate should look like. MyPlate.gov is fantastic for that. And, maybe starting out with a nice salad, maybe if you're at a Mediterranean restaurant, getting some like lean chicken kebabs or something like that. Maybe finding your whole grain, see if there's some brown rice or bulgur there or something like that, drinking your water with some lemon or lime in it. Really think responsibly if you're eating out 3 or 4 times a week, because if you're not, yes, it's very hard to maintain your weight. And a lot of times those meals are high in salt, high in fat, high in sugar, and that's going to just lead to chronic disease if you're doing it a few times a week.
And then, so we've talked about how, what we should be eating and, all of those good things. But I think one of the biggest problems for people is how to maintain. So what are some key tips you have for us for how to maintain that healthy diet?
Yeah. So, so it's really not about a diet. I hate that word diet. We don't like that word diet, right? Because diet sounds temporary. Diet sounds like you're doing something temporary for like a plan because your goal is to lose weight. Well, a lot of people would say, yeah, that is my goal, but you're going to lose weight. But the problem is if you don't maintain it for a lifetime, you're going to gain it right back. And that up and down yo-yoing is never good. Okay. So really we want to kind of work on what the person's eating and slowly, gradually make these changes towards a healthy lifestyle. And it starts at the first stages of life, from children, from toddlers and children to teenagers and adolescents to young women and pregnant women and to adults and to older adults, right? So throughout the whole stages of life, we want to continue to move towards those healthy dietary changes. So, yeah,
I know it's, that's, I think, for people, that's sometimes we can figure out all those things, but staying on track is sometimes just so hard.
Yeah. So sorry about that. So yeah, definitely. So getting back on track is always the thing, always getting people back to their why. Why do they want to keep their weight down? Why do they want to stay healthy? And then coming up with an action plan, problem solve. What's going on? Why are they losing track? What's happening in their life? Come up with an action plan. Come up with one simple change to get you back on track and practice that for the week. If you do well for that week, you go to the next. Sorry.
And no, it's okay. And these are things that you deal with your T2 diabetes program, right?
Yes, for sure. So our Prevent Type 2 Diabetes program, we're accredited for the Center for Disease Control to run this program. This program is for persons who are overweight, and it's been shown to prevent type 2 diabetes. It is a year-long program, which sounds like a long time, but really we get to know these persons very, very, very well. And we're constantly working on keeping them on track, getting back on track. So it's a big thing. Mm-hmm.
So we'll put that link in the comments there for everyone to see, so to learn more about it. And then also there's so many diet trends out there and alternative, I'm sorry, I said the word diet, but things like, the keto and Atkins and intermittent fasting or being vegan, vegetarian. Do you find that it's healthier, or is it more of a lifestyle choice?
So we really want to find something that a person can do for a lifetime that's really been proven to keep them healthy. And the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, which is kind of like our Bible, okay? It's every 5 years they come out. There's a lot of different bodies of evidence that goes into that. The diets that they really speak about there is just overall U.S. healthy American diet, which is all those different food groups, vegetarian diet, the Mediterranean diet, and the DASH diet, which is dietary advances to stop hypertension. Okay, all of those diets have been studied. All of those diets lead to healthy, good habits, and all of those diets are great. Now, we might use some of those little tiny kind of fad diets in between when we first meet people, because we're trying to change their way of their relationship with foods. Use principles of some of those other things, but we're really not getting people to do something like intermittent fasting for the rest of their lives. It doesn't really work.
So it's kind of just like things that you, again, going back to that maintaining aspect of things.
Exactly.
And trying different things too, because, some things may work, and then, you kind of have to, as in life in general, kind of roll with the punches and keep going and moving forward, and try, divert if it's not working for you anymore, or.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the problem solving, right? What's the eventual goal? Where are we now? What kind of change can we make to get to that goal? Try it out, do it, and then see how it works. So I think it goes for everything in life.
And then too, like, all of those things are so important. You mentioned a little bit before about how what we eat affects us since we are younger, and how what we put into our body does affect our health. So, what are the basics we need to know if we have health issues such as heart health or high blood pressure, diabetes?
Right. So a healthy relationship with food starts at a very, very young age, which is what I love about the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, is it takes us through those stages of life. So getting people to adopt healthy changes, healthy foods in their home from a very, very young age, right? If they don't, what happens is our food preferences get affected and what's around us gets affected, right? And then the person goes into their teenage and adolescent years with establishing some bad habits. Those bad habits start to continue into adulthood, and that's when chronic disease develops. And we are even seeing some chronic disease as early as teenagers. So we really want to establish these food preferences, these food habits from as young of an age as possible. And it's never too late to change. Through the rest of your life, you could always find something to move towards those healthier patterns.
That's so important. It's never too late. I love that. And I feel like that's a great note to end on. And is there anything else that you'd like to add today? Or I think did we lose you again? I think we did.
Right. I think we're good.
There you are. That's okay. So is there anything else that you'd like to tell us and share with us today? I think thank you so much you've given us such a wide range of information. And if you have any questions, everyone out there, please leave us a comment, and we'll get back to you even if it's later on. But we want to make sure that you feel like you have all the information you need to stay healthy and eat healthy and maintain. So anything else, Jen?
No, I mean, I just think if they're interested in, speaking to a professional, you're looking for a registered dietitian, or it may be called a registered dietitian nutritionist. That's who you're looking for. We are really the experts in the field of understanding these dietary guidelines and moving people towards these dietary guidelines. So that's the advice you want to seek through. And we're located at the Ambulatory Care Center. So they can always call us at 973-322-7007. And we're happy to direct you to who is the best person for you to see.
We will get all of that information for all of you in our comments. And Jen, thank you so much for being here. And I just want to thank you and, all the good work you and your team does, and all the, registered dietitians that work at the hospital as well, to make sure that everyone is staying on track and keeping our patients healthy. And, it's all wonderful, and we appreciate everything that you do. So thank you so much for being here today and taking the time, and have a wonderful day, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.